I have finally done it. I have become a god of beavers. Now I know what you're thinking. Okay, actually, I don't. Some of you might think this is as cool as me. But yes, today we are playing Timberborn, and they just had a massive update. So we're gonna see what's new together. Now, this is my first time playing Timberborn on the channel. So let's start with the basics. Beavers need 3 things to survive: food, water, and babies. We'll go into great depth on that last one, don't worry. But before we start anything, let's meet our beavers and see what we've got to work with. Looks like some of them had some mutations. But these 4 leaders right here, you'll notice that their names are a little bit different than the usual pre-generated names. And this is because they are some of my top commenters. So if you're wanting a shout out in one of my future videos, go ahead and leave a like and comment your favorite part of the video. But now that we've met our beavers, it's time to get on with the basics. Like I said, the first thing we need to worry about is food. And that will begin with our berry patch over here. So if we come and grab our path, we can drag it from the entrance to our town center. Drag it down over to our berries, and then inside our food tab we have what's called a gathering flag. We'll just plop that down right there. I'll probably do 2 at the beginning, and then as we press play, you'll see that the beavers will come over and build these gathering flags. And then once they're built, our beavers will go ahead and gather ourselves some berries. Now these will be very important, especially for their 3rd need, if you remember. The rest of the beavers have nothing to do right now, so let's get cracking on the 2nd need, which is going to be water. In the water tab, we have the deep water pump, and if any of you have seen RC's videos on Timberborn, we're just gonna call these log pumper stations. If you know, you know. We'll just place that right here so our path can go directly to it. And once it's built, they're going to be able to pump water out of the river. Now, what's new with this update is this water isn't the only water. There is a 2nd type. It looks like poop, and I have a sneaky suspicion that's what it is. But we'll have to be careful not to contaminate any of our food or beavers with that in the future. Now, in order to build this deep water pump, we're going to need some logs, and luckily we have some stairs right here so we can go and chop down these trees. We'll go ahead and press cut trees. We'll come and mark all of these for cutting. But that means we also need to have a lumberjack station. So if we have the path come on up here, we can grab our woodcutter and plop 2 of those down. That'll get built, and then these trees will start getting chopped, so then we can get some water on the go. Now, as they're getting these berries, these flags can only contain, just like I was saying, they can only have 20 before these guys just sit on their butt and do nothing, which means we're going to need some storage. For now, since we don't have much wood, well, we actually have 0 at the moment, but pretty soon we'll have some wood. I'm just going to focus on putting down some small storages because it doesn't take very much wood. So we'll see if any of our commenters have gone into these jobs. Actually, yes. So Honey Sal is actually our berry picker. Seems like he's kind of lazy though, so we'll see if that changes. And then the other berry picker is actually another one. It's Bilskia Alexander. The lumberjack flags are created. Unfortunately, we're past working hours, so this up here tells them when they can be off work, and right now they don't have anything to do in their off time, so they're just gonna hang out. I'm gonna fast forward through the night. Unfortunately, they're all just sleeping out in the cold. We'll fix that soon. Okay, so working has started, and if we look, we have 2 beavers that are chopping down trees. One of them is the blue doggo, and the other one is just a random beaver that we don't care about. So once they get some logs, these buildings will get created. Actually, look at that. We're already 26% of the way there in building it. That is good, because right now we have 0 water. And each of these beavers have a hunger and thirst bar. If it reaches 0, then they are dead. Now, you'll notice here as well that they have this well-being score. As their well-being score increases, they will work faster, harder, and live longer. So it's important that our beavers have a happy lifestyle. Just right now, though, we're focused on the basics. Oh, speaking of which, it's time to talk about babies. Now, on the side of the town hall, I'm going to put a little path here. And then if I go into housing, you'll notice that there is a breeding pod. This is where baby beavers come from. Don't forget it. And the reason that we have these breeding pods is this is the Iron Teeth faction. There's different factions you can play in the game. And this faction is all work, no play. So beavers have to come from somewhere else. So I just put down 3 of those breeding pods. These breeding pods will take in 5 water and 5 berries in order to create a baby beaver. So that is where they come from. And that's why the berry pickers is one of the most important parts of our little beaver colony. Speaking of which, this storage just got created. So let's make sure it is storing berries. And before the other one gets built, we'll tell it to store berries as well. That way Honey Sal and Alexander can go ahead and do their work. And yes, our first log pumper is in there. Unfortunately, it's just a random beaver, but with a little bit of finagling, we now have Pizza Man in there instead. So here's our first log pumper, and you'll see there that the beaver just put in some berries, and now he'll come and get some water. Yep, there we go. Thank you, Pizza Man. And once he puts it in there, we'll create a baby beaver. Eventually, it takes some time to grow. So we still have 3 beavers that are just standing around doing nothing. There are a few kids around, and as much as I would like to, we don't believe in child labor here. But water seems to be the holdup right now. Some of our beavers are thirsty, and that's because it took a while for us to get this water pump in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a second one in right next to it. And water is very, very important in this game. If you look here at the top, we're in cycle 1, day 2. In each cycle, there's a wet season and a dry season. During the wet season, water flows freely, and our beavers don't have to worry about anything. But during the dry season, these water sources, which are these rocks right here, they will dry up and we'll no longer have water for our beavers. So it's important that we not only pump the water, but also that we store it. So in storage, we have a small water tank. Make sure we're saving as much time as possible. I'm gonna put them right outside the log pumpers. So any excess water, especially since we'll have a second pump, will go into these storages. And when the dry season comes, we won't crash and burn. Now, unfortunately, it looks like we've run out of berries for the time being. They will grow back, but I don't think we can wait that long for food. So if we come into the food, we do have a farmhouse that we can create. Now, the bad water does contaminate the land, but I believe it's only where these veins are at. So technically speaking, all of this up here is okay, but I don't really want to risk it at this point. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a farm up towards this direction. So we'll come and grab our farmhouse. And then if we come to plant crops, we can grab any one of these. We'll get to that, don't worry. But the first one is going to be kohlrabies because you don't have to cook it. You don't have to do anything. They can just plant it, harvest it, and eat it. All right, so our second log pumper has been created, but there's no one in it. So I'm going to update the priority. Another random beaver just went in there. And as we add more workstations, we're going to run low on beavers. So I'm going to pause these 2 berry gatherers for now. Sorry, Honey Sal, you're sacked. Maybe they'll become our farmers over here. It is another night, so we're going to fast forward through that. All right, morning of day 4. Our farm is going to get created today, but we're also running low on logs. And once those are gone, well, actually, never mind. We have all these pines up here, so that'll work. And actually, we could get to these oaks over here. So different kinds of trees are going to give different amounts of wood. The oak gives 8 logs, and the pine only gives 2. If we could get to these oaks, that would be huge. Problem is, we need to cross this river. There's 2 ways that we can do that. We can get some stairs and go into the water, or since we are beavers, let's start building a dam. So we'll go just right across here. Again, I want to stay away from this poop water. That way our beavers don't get sick. And then I put path right on top so that way they can eventually get over to this side. Unfortunately though, I don't think that we're going to have enough logs to get across. So we are going to have to chop down some of these pines. That means I am going to have to put a path right through our farm. Sorry guys. And then up here I can put some more lumberjack flags and then tell them to chop down all of these trees. Oh, and there we go. Look, we are storing water. So we have 46 at the moment. Thank you, Pizza Man. And now in the morning of day 5, our farmhouse is finally done. Unfortunately, we don't have enough workers to work in there, so I'm going to up the priority on that. I believe, yeah, so these 2 lumberjacks, one of which is Honey Sal, they're going to start planting kohlrabies. I'm actually going to give them just a little bit more farmland, too. Rather have too much than too little. But since this farmhouse is built, that means that these damn pieces can get... Oh, look at that. Already 16 out of 20, so... yeah, these can get built. Now, why are you sitting around doing nothing? There are a few trees to chop. Let's go ahead and pause you then. You guys can go and be lumberjacks at the other stations. Thank you, the blue doggo. And yes, our first damn piece is in. So this shouldn't take too long. And then this water will back up. It'll still flow through the top of the dam, so we don't have to worry about flooding or anything. Checking on our water's actually doing pretty well. 79 out of 80, I think, is the max. Yeah, so let's put another storage. We'll just kind of continue to come along this edge. Eventually, I'm going to put another log pumper in here. But so far, things are going pretty well. One thing I'd like to do is, for example, earlier, we could have put stairs through here, but the stairs take science and we need 70 of it. Right now we have 0 because we don't have any scientists. So if we come down to the science tab, we have an inventor's hut. And since farmland and trees can only go where it's green, I'm going to demolish these lumberjack huts and anything that doesn't need to go in the green area, we're gonna start putting them up here instead, so that way we're not losing any of our precious farmland. We still have 3 beavers that don't have anything to do, so tell you what, I'm gonna increase the priority on the inventor hub so we can have another job. It's only 12 logs, and then they'll get to the dam after it's done, but that'll allow our beavers to actually do something instead of sitting around. Now I am worried about our berries. They're going down pretty fast, and these ones haven't come back yet, and unfortunately our kohlrabies are still a ways away, only 34%, which means they have another like 2 days, I think. But good news, the inventor hut has just been created and Honey Sal has gone in. He really does everything around here. He'll be our first scientist. He'll start generating science for us, which we can then use to unlock certain things, which is important because eventually we're going to run out of these trees and we need a way to replant them. Luckily, the forester here is going to be able to do that. It takes 60 science, so that'll be the first thing that we unlock. But for now, we need to figure out a way to tackle our food issue. I don't know, maybe we'll be okay. I'm not sure how much the beavers eat per day, but we only have 12 of them. Pretty soon, though, our babies are going to be born, and that means there'll be more mouths to feed. Our 3rd dam piece is in, which means just 1 more to go. And with 4 lumberjacks and 4 builders, I think that should be no problem at all. There we go. We have an operational dam, the first one. So again, this is going to back the water up during a drought, so that way we don't lose all the green space we have. And just in time, we're finally getting some more water storage too. Checking our food. Another day's gone by. We only used 2. I think beavers tend to eat and drink at the end of the day, so that way they don't have to interrupt their work schedule. Gotta love the iron teeth, right? I just love how the beavers, if they don't have anything to do, they just wander around. Now with the dam done on this side, we can start adding some lumberjacks. Now there's not a lot of space, so really I can only put them on this ground that's bad. I'm not sure if that's gonna make them sick, but we have to find out eventually, so might as well be now. And yep, I think I was right. They ate a lot last night. We're down to 29, so this might be the last night that they have food. Luckily, I think the kohlrabi should be done tomorrow, but just in case, I'm actually gonna pause the breeding pods for a second. I forgot to tell these guys to chop these trees down, so let's come into chop trees and we'll just mark all of these oaks. Now, since our main building projects are done for now, we are gonna need some storage for our logs. We can come in and grab a large industrial storage, and again, I want to save this area for more important things. Again, I don't think we can use this space for any kind of planting. Might be a risk putting it here because contamination or whatnot, but I think if we put it there, it should be fine. I think I'm gonna keep this side as like my log chopping area. I don't know. We'll see what we end up doing there. It is day 7, so I would imagine that a drought is gonna come soon. But as of now, I mean, we've got 120 water. I think we'll be fine for the first drought. What does concern me is I think the rest of the berries are gonna get eaten tonight, which means we have nothing else to give to our baby beavers because they need berries and they can't take anything else. So we might be stuck with the beavers we have until these berries finally come back, and they're only 50% of the way there, so that's another 6 days. It's now day 8 and still no sign of the drought. Honestly, it's probably a good thing so we can figure out our food situation. Ooh, look at that, 99%. So let's unpause the farmhouse. Bilski Alexander will be one of our saviors here. I do need to make storage for it, so let's take a medium warehouse. Now, do I want to save time by having it near the farm, or do I want to instead have it up here somewhere so it saves space? I think for now, because we just need the farmers to be as effective as possible, we'll put it right next to it, and then eventually we'll kind of move things up. Maybe we'll even use this area up here. We can add some pathing up to it, and it is getting built really fast actually. I guess because we have logs stored right here. Perfect. And then with our last 4 berries, let's try to get these new baby beavers in. So it looks like our farmers aren't quite fast enough to harvest all of this in time. So I'm going to get rid of one of these lumberjack flags and then replace it with another farmhouse. And so this farmhouse should be able to help them harvest all of this. But of course, we're going to need more beavers to achieve that. This baby beaver is so close. They'll have the 4 berries left, so I think it'll be okay. Day 9 and still no sign of the drought. So I think I'm going to go ahead and fast forward and just kind of let things take their course. And as day 9 comes to a close, we now have 4 farmers. 84 logs is actually looking pretty good. Our kohlrabi's just barely hanging in there, so a little bit concerned with that. but I think it is finally time that we give some housing to our beavers. If we come into housing, we have this barrack which sleeps 10 people, and then we'll just want to put it right up here. Put our pathing down. I want a path kind of going behind it so we can kind of build out behind it, of course. And each of these barracks takes 40 logs. So I don't know if I want to do 2 of them to cover all the beavers. Oh, look at this. We have new baby beavers. The next generation is alive and well, and just in time because we're out of berries completely. And there we go. We have our first house. You can see here that 10 of our beavers went in, and their happiness score is now at a solid 1. And our farmers are reaching the end of their crop. Not quite in time for the next kohlrabies to grow, unfortunately. So let's add just a little bit more kohlrabies around. We'll just kind of surround everything in it. Now, Honey Sal has been hard at work making us science. We're at 68 now, which is very good news. It means that we can come into wood and we can unlock the forester. And again, this is going to allow us to replant trees. We'll just place it right here if it weren't night. And since they all have a place to sleep, whoa, look at that. They went from 1 to 5. That's huge. So our average is now 3 because some of our beavers, unfortunately, are just hanging out, still homeless. Do we at least have the important beavers in here? Pizza Man, Honey Sal, Alexander, and Blue Doggo. Yes, perfect. Oh, shoot. And we now have a drought approaching in 3 days. Water, we're looking pretty good, around 200. Food, that's kind of an issue, but as long as this stays wet, shouldn't be a big problem. I believe this should be... Oh, so this is a problem. The forester takes planks, and we don't have a way to make planks yet. So we're going to have to do something about that. Now, planks are going to come from the industrial lumber mill, and if you look there, kind of towards the top, it takes 75 horsepower, which means we're going to need a way to get power. Over here in power, we have 2 options right now. We have the compact water wheel. Pretty self-explanatory, goes into the water. Wait a minute. You can put power into the town hall? I did not know that. I don't know if it does anything, but okay. And then we have the large power wheel, which they did just change. RC wasn't very happy about it, but I really have 2 options. I can do it off the river, but the problem with that is that when the dry season comes, the water will stop moving, we'll lose power, but I don't have to waste any beavers because this power wheel, it takes 4 beavers to power, and this takes 100 logs, which is a lot more than 25. I think long term though, having our industrial area over in the dead zone is probably going to make sense. So we'll go ahead and put it in right about here. Put our path in, and we don't have enough logs at the moment. We do have... No, we don't. We don't have lumberjacks in here. For some reason, they're over there. So let's up the priority on these 2. But next to this large water wheel, we'll go ahead and put in our industrial lumber mill, which is going to take another 20 logs. So we need 120 logs. And then on top of that, we're going to need 7 planks, which I think it's a 1-to-1 ratio. We have some baby trees that have yet to grow. So hoping that all works out. Also, officially, our berry production has halted the production of babies. Things are going well, but they also could be going better. But that's the nature of this game. You just got to kind of balance everything. Unfortunately, we have our first casualty. The Blue Doggo has a broken teeth, multiple apparently. So that needs to get taken care of. If we come into our well-being, this will be the first thing that we actually build with our well-being. We're going to need a teeth grindstone. I think a good spot for that is just going to be... Oh, that tree just grew in the way. Actually, since we're living on the edge anyways, let's not put it there. Let's actually demolish one of these lumberjack flags, and that will allow us to put a path to behind here. Give us more space for some lumberjack flags, and we can put our teeth grindstone right there instead. Then we can save that room for just a few more trees. How are we coming along on the large power wheel? We're at 50%, 64 out of 100 logs, still 38, so I actually think we're gonna finish this quite nicely. So I'm gonna kind of let them do their thing and bring you back in when they're done with that. There you have it. So they're both done. The issue is this has no workers. So to make room, we're going to take our builders and bring them down to just 2 for now. I should allow 2 of them to come into here, and it will work with like just 1 beaver. It'll just produce less. And right now, all we need is that 75. So let's reduce that down 1. Hey, there we go. Blue Doggo is finally getting their teeth taken care of. See, I do take care of my beavers. At least, you know, most of them. Half of them aren't housed, but that's okay. So on day 14, the drought has finally started. So if you look here at the water sources, we're no longer getting water, and everything around it is dying. Luckily, these won't die because they'll die in 14 days, and this drought is only 3 days to begin with. If we fast forward here, you'll see the water will eventually dry up at the top and at the bottom, But since we have our handy dandy dams here, we don't have to worry. Our little section will be one of the only green on the map. Now we have plenty of water to last the drought. Just in case, I'm gonna pause this water pump because if this dries out, then we'll lose all of our crops, which we definitely will not want. Oh wait, hold on. We have berries again. Let's unpause our gathering flags here because we are definitely going to need more babies. Now looking towards the future in this section here on this side of the path, probably wrap around over here somewhere, we're going to have housing and science and storage, and then this side will be industrial stuff. Because for example, these water storages are great, but they take a lot of space and they don't really store very much. There are larger tanks if we had the science for it, like a medium tank, but that's going to take these gears, which if we go into wood means that we have to get the gear workshop, which means we have to unlock it, which means we need more science, and you can see where that's going. So once we have a few more beavers, we're going to up our science production, because there's literally no one in science right now. Is there anyone we can sack for now? No, the forester's done, but no one's even in it. That'll definitely have to be high prioritized for now. With that forester, just like how we told our farmers to plant kohlrabies, we will tell them to plant oaks. Make sure all the cracks are filled in. We're definitely going to need more logs in the future, and we'll probably make like use of this space down here. Why are you not... What? Okay then. But yeah, I would love to use this space down here, but the problem is this bad water, this poop water, is going to interfere with that. Actually, when it was in the wet season, it didn't contaminate it, so it might be okay. The only issue is if we come into our water area, we have what's called a bad water discharge, and that goes right on top of this, RC was right, it's kind of a bum hole. We put that on there, we can open and close it, and we can let water flow during the drought. We can't drink it. Actually, I'm not sure about that. There might be a way to turn it into drinkable water, but if it's just the bad water, it'll definitely contaminate all of this. Might even contaminate where our berries are. So might not be the move. I don't know. We'll figure out what we want to do with it. But we have officially survived our first day in the drought. Our water is actually looking super good. Kohlrabies are over 120. Finally getting berries back too. Now since we finally have the forester in, we finally have our honey Sal is in the large power wheel. Oh man, that will not do. Hold on. He's not meant for physical labor like that. He is meant for so much more. Okay, there we go. We got some random beaver in there. Honey Sal can come and help be a farmer instead. Okay, another night where part of our beavers are just hanging out outside. So let's go ahead and build another house. And this design is going to be pretty simple. I'm going to build 2 back to back, and then I'm going to kind of build up around it. So it'll just be kind of like a skyscraper. Of course, that means we'll have to unlock wooden stairs and platforms and stuff, but we shouldn't need another one until we have that stuff unlocked. Water's still looking good, food's still good, so I think this drought, I think we smashed it. And no one has to sleep outside tonight. Everyone was housed, which means our average happiness score is actually at 4. There we go, the drought has ended and cycle 2 begins. That means we're going to want to unpause our water pumps, of course. That is priority number 1. And I would say we made some pretty good progress. Let's watch the water come back into our civilization and slowly rejuvenates the land. Oh, we actually got to level 5 over the night. Perfect. But I think I'm going to have to call it there for now. If you guys enjoyed the video, leave a like. It helps me out a ton. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And again, if you leave a comment, you may very well just be one of these beavers. And as God of the Beavers, I command you to go watch one of my other videos. Let me know what you think. Bye, guys.